today we are going to start our first 2020 of 2024. What do I mean by that? We are going to be breaking down every lake that I fished this year on the Fisher of Men Georgia North Tournament Trail. So that's the trail that I'm fishing this spring, and we're just going to go back through each lake and cover all of the details, including what I found, what we patterned, what baits worked best, what, now that I've completed the tournament, what I would do differently, what worked well. We're going to go into the key moments, the results, where we stand in the season, all of that. So we're going to go into all the details, and hopefully you guys enjoy this and learn something from it. I want to do this for two reasons. One is it's always good to reflect and go back through and just evaluate your performance in anything in life, and just to understand what you could do better or could do differently, and honestly take away the good things too, the positives on what you did well, and take those learning experiences to the next competition or skill or scenario that you face in life. So that's number one. And number two is that hopefully you guys learn something from this. This first one happened to be on Lake Lanier, the stop number one, which is my home lake, but we're going to hit a bunch of other lakes here, and I'll show you guys the list of lakes we're hitting. But we're going to be hitting a bunch of different lakes this season, and some of you guys may live on these lakes. So when I evaluate my performance, you guys may be able to jump in and say, hey, you should have done that, or hey, this normally works here. And so we can all kind of work together and just collaborate on getting better as fishermen in general. So that's kind of the two reasons that I'm going to do this, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. Let me know down in the comments below if you like this style of video where we all can learn just about everything from each of these tournaments. So without further ado, let's jump into stop number one. As I mentioned, it was on Lake Lanier in January. It was super cold, super windy, just to kind of set the stage here. Ridiculously windy. I mean, to the point where the main lake was almost uncrossable. You kind of had to, stay less than 20, 30 miles per hour, which Lake Lanier is a moderately large lake. So it was very tough to travel and move around. So our strategy right off the bat was kind of to hunker down to where we kind of found fish in practice and just kind of stay there. Is that the best thing? I don't know. It worked for us. We caught some fish, but ultimately it wasn't enough for the win. But again, we did pretty well. So that was kind of our thought process, and we figured that out that morning. Lake Lanier is fishing extremely well right now. If you guys have heard anything or just looked on social media or any tournament results, Lake Lanier, it's taking 21, 22 pounds to win, which is absolutely absurd for a spotted bass lake. So I'm very well versed in that. I understand it. Like I said, this is my home lake, so I hear about it all the time. But for those watching who are new, it is a ridiculously good spotted bass lake. So we kind of knew we needed 20 plus pounds going into this just to, have a chance. And that was our goal. And we thought we had a good chance at getting that. And I'll jump into that here. We were actually probably spot on to where we needed to be. But anyway, that's kind of the premise. Again, stop number one now for patterning the lake. Again, it was winter time. Normally in these highland reservoirs, the fish start to move into ditches, is what that's called. So if you guys are unfamiliar with what a ditch is, I've got a video I'll post right here that explains everything you need to know about what a ditch is. But go ahead and watch that if you're unfamiliar with that. But normally these fish, when that water starts dropping in temperature into the, I would say 50 and below, those fish really group up in the ditches because that's where the bait is. So if you guys watch my practice video, I fished a lot shallow. I tried a bunch of different stuff that I normally wouldn't fish, and just eliminated a bunch of water. I felt for me that was going to be the best plan of attack. Again, this being my home lake, that doesn't always make it easy by any means, because sometimes a little too many spots and you just can get spun out trying to go to too many places rather than just fishing. But that was kind of my strategy, just eliminate water, eliminate certain types of patterns that weren't working. And that included shallow fishing, at least for us. Kind of now, again, hindsight, we actually got beat by a team that fished shallow. I know that for a fact. So It is what it is. It's fishing, but that for us did not work. So then we just decided to go deep, and that's exactly what we focused on the entire day. Is we started focusing on ditches, and the fish ended up showing up in anywhere from 30 all the way out to, in the afternoon, we caught some fish in 70 feet of water, and that was kind of our pattern. So it kind of stuck to everything that we had practiced. It stuck to everything that we had learned, and that's what we ran, and it seemed to work pretty well. So the two baits, looking back now, that were the most successful for us, or actually there were only two baits that were successful for us the entire day. One was the shaky head. So just classic shaky head, green pumpkin, 3/16, quarter ounce. Didn't seem to matter, but that in the morning worked decently well when the fish were a little bit shallower. When I say a little bit, guys, like I said, I mean, I think the shallowest fish we caught was in probably 25 feet. So that's all relative. I know a lot of you guys live on lakes where some of the deepest points in the lake are 25 feet. So that's kind of crazy there. But that was our good one for the morning. And then by far the most productive bait for us was a swim bait. And again, just casting these swim baits down the middle of the ditches and looking for fish and casting to those fish and just hopping it and slowly reeling it along the bottom. And when I mean slow, I mean super slow. I mean, it's crazy. If you guys go back and watch that tournament video, you can see how just how slow I'm talking. But those were the two best rods and baits for yesterday, for the tournament yesterday. And both of them are spinning rods, 2500, 2500 reel, 12-pound braid to an 8-pound leader. And then the rods are G Loomis NRX 872s and 852s. Pick your poison there. One's a 7.1, one's a 7.3, both medium action. And the 872 works a little bit better for the swim bait, I believe, and the 52 is a little bit better for shaky heads. It's all personal preference, but guys, these bites are super subtle. You want to make sure that you have a very sensitive rod. If you're going to spend the money on one thing, I would say spend it on the rod and then get a moderate reel. That's my opinion. You just need to have that sensitivity to feel, especially in the wintertime. These bites are so soft. And again, if you guys have already watched that video, that tournament video, you can see some of the bites we lift up and the fish are just there. I mean, we never felt them, and these are really, really high quality rods, and you still can't feel them sometimes. So it's absolutely crazy. But those were the two best for us. Now, jumping into results. So we went from the pattern of what we thought the lake would be doing and how we ended up fishing. We went to the best baits for us. Now let's go into the results. We ended up finishing 5th. So can't complain about that at all. That's really good. Made a couple $100, nothing crazy there. Basically paid for all the expenses and tournament fees and all that stuff. So we basically fished for free. So that's awesome. We love that. Really good points for the season. Overall, again, it's a 5 tournaments, as you guys saw in the beginning. And it's going to be a point system that adds up over all 5 of those tournaments. So we're 5th in points right now. Obviously, there's only one tournament, but I will keep you guys updated as we go throughout the season. Now, we had, for total weight, we had 1876, which, in my opinion, is fantastic. I mean, we had a 544 was our big fish. We missed big fish by like 0.2 of a pound. I mean, something crazy, something so minuscule, but that is a beast of a spot. I mean, check this out. I think it's a good one. Taking a break. That's why we stay. That's why we stay here.
Yeah.
That fish was absolutely massive, and that happened real early in the morning. We knew we already had our kicker out of the way, which helps so much with your confidence just to keep fishing and to know that you already have one of the fish that you need in your live well. So that was a game-changing moment for us, is when we caught that 5.5 pounder early in the morning. It was a spot, like I said, so you guys saw that there. So that was something that we did right. And I would say, guys, in terms of what we did right and what we did wrong, let's jump into that now. In terms of what we did right, we did the right thing by hunkering down, I think, and just fishing. Just keeping the trolling motor in the water, keeping the fishing rods and the baits in the water. And I think we did that very well. As you guys can see, I mean, we caught a huge weight. What we did wrong, we didn't do much wrong. I really don't believe that. I believe that we had the bites that we needed to be successful. And what I mean by that, so it's gonna be a tough one to swallow here. I don't even like talking about it, but we lost two key fish, and we knew this bite was going to be slow. Again, because of the conditions, it was ridiculously windy, cold, post frontal. I mean, it was dumb conditions. So we knew we were going for like 7 to 10 bites maximum, and that's about what we got. We probably had 8 to 10 bites, if I had to guess. Looking back at I'd have to look back at the footage to know exactly. And I didn't post all of the fish in there. We caught a couple really small ones that I didn't put in the video. But those were all the fish. So we probably only had 10 bites all day long. And we ended up breaking off 2. One was on video, one was not. I didn't have the GoPro running, but the one that broke off at the boat, again, going back to that tournament footage, that one was probably, I mean, guys, it broke off right at the boat. I had the net, I mean, literally right there, took off right at the last second and broke us off. Nothing you can do there. I mean, literally nothing you can do. It's fishing sometimes. Maybe loosen the drag a little bit, but again, you just don't know, guys. It could have been on its teeth funny. It could have just been frayed from, bumping along the bottom the whole way. So no one's fault there. It's just fishing. It happens. You're going to lose fish. But that was loss number 1. And that fish was probably, I'm going to say at least 3.5. I'm going to put it in between 3.5 and 4. Probably a little smaller than 4. So I'm going to go in between 3.5 and 3.9, we'll say. But got a great look at it. Like I said, it was 2 feet below the surface, guys. Just took off one more time before the net got down and broke off. So that could have gained us right there. Our smallest fish, I think, was around 3.1 was our small. We had 2 right at 3.1. So could have gained us another half pound. Could it have won us the tournament? Absolutely not. But it could have jumped us up a place or two, maybe. And then that's important because later on in the day, our second loss, the fish we were fishing for out deeper are bigger fish. Normally, you catch small fish out there, but generally speaking, the fish that are out deeper in the ditches are bigger fish. And I know that because of the one that I caught in the afternoon. Check this out. I mean, it's super cool fish, but you guys will enjoy this.
Got him. I'm coming with the net. This one feels better. Are there any I need to drop down on?
Yeah, this one's a giant. This one's a giant. Get it.
Yeah.
Woo! Let's go! Freaking go! So with that fish was right at 4 pounds. And again, all of these fish that are, not all of them, a lot of these fish that are out there are big class fish. So I didn't get this break off on camera, but I ended up hooking one of those fish, broke me off immediately. Probably had its teeth right around the line and just pinched it or something, broke me off. But that's unfortunate because if I'm being honest with you guys, most of the fish I catch out there are easily 3 plus. I'll say generally 3.5 plus. They're normally around 4 pounds. So that's all a guess. Again, it's fishing. We don't know on that one, but between those 2 fish, that gets us up to, almost 21 pounds, depending, you know, plus or minus, whatever you want to do. This is all speculation. Again, it's a 2020 video, so I'm just telling you guys the honest truth. We lost two fish, which generally doesn't happen. We normally don't lose a lot of fish. Just on this specific day, we lost two, and they could have been difference makers for, you know, second, third place, some better money, basically. That's about it. But other than that, we fished very well, especially for the conditions. We did exactly what we wanted to, and ultimately, I'm very happy with how it turned out. There were 32 boats, and we finished 5th out of them. Can't complain about that. That's fantastic. I believe that's kind of everything for this 2020 video. We went over, you know, what we patterned and found, what was our goal, and kind of the weight that we tried to go after, what were our 2 top producing baits. It's not always going to be 2, but this case it just happened to be 2. What we did right, what we did wrong, and honestly my overall thoughts on it. So we kind of covered everything that I wanted to. Our next stop is Lake Hartwell in February. So we're going to be ramping up here for that one. I'm moderately familiar with Hartwell. Actually, I'll be honest. I'm pretty familiar with Hartwell. I went to school at Clemson, and we lived on the water up there for all 4 years. So super familiar with Hartwell. Excited about that one. We should be able to put a pretty good pattern together, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you learned something from it or you like these style of videos, again, please let me know. Like the video. That helps me with the feedback. And then comment down below what lake you guys are fishing next. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I've got some really interesting videos coming down the line, so you're not going to want to miss that. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. I'll talk to y'all soon.